Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. Tyreek Hill is back and louder than ever, and if his recent statements are anything to go by, the NFL should be on high alert. Coming off a roller coaster 2020 season that ended in bitter disappointment, Hill has not only re-emerged with a vengeance, but has made it crystal clear he's not here to play games anymore. The Miami Dolphins wide receiver, known for his blazing speed and explosive playmaking ability, ended last season with a fiery rant on a gaming livestream, leaving fans and analysts questioning whether his time in South Beach was over. He sounded off, venting frustrations about a season that fell short of expectations. The Dolphins went 8-9, missing the playoffs entirely, a brutal result for a team that had so much promise. That rant wasn't just frustration talking, though it was a warning shot, a warning to teammates, to management, and yes, to the rest of the league. Tyreek Hill has something to prove, and he's coming for everything. Quickly after his emotional outburst, Hill stepped back into the public eye to clarify the intent behind his comments. "What y'all heard was frustration," he admitted, owning up to the raw emotions that spilled out in the moment, and honestly, who could blame him? It was the first time in his electric career that he had to watch the playoffs from home. No primetime lights, no postseason buzz, just silence for a player built on adrenaline and drive. That's a hard pill to swallow. But what makes Hill different is how he channels that disappointment. He didn't point fingers. He didn't check out. Instead, he called for reinforcements, telling the Dolphins brass to add some dogs to the roster. That's not a man walking away. That's a leader demanding more. And with 959 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns in an injury-riddled campaign, even his down year would be a career high for many others. What's even more telling is that Tyreek Hill's numbers dipped not because of age or loss of speed, but due to a nagging wrist injury that required off-season surgery. Still, he pushed through it, showing up week after week to do whatever he could for a team that was clearly falling short of its potential. Now, post-surgery and back to full health, Hill is sounding the alarm. This isn't a player winding down. This is a competitor turning the volume up. "I've been competitive my whole life," Hill recently said at Dolphins training camp, crediting his grandparents for instilling that fire in him. And you can see it not just in the way he talks, but in how he moves, how he trains, how he leads. He's dialed in, focused, hungry, and that's bad news for every defensive coordinator in the league. There's also a side to Tyreek Hill that fans don't always see in the highlight reels. Beyond the big plays and brash personality, there's a man who understands the weight of his role. At training camp, Hill acknowledged that he knows kids look up to him. That matters to him now more than ever. "I know that there are little kids that look up to me," he said, with a level of humility that caught many by surprise. He openly expressed regret over how he handled the end of the season, admitting, "As a leader, I just need to do better." That's growth, that's maturity, in a league where egos can run wild. It's refreshing to hear a superstar own his missteps and use them as fuel for a stronger comeback. Tyreek isn't just rebuilding his body, he's reshaping his mindset. And make no mistake, this is not just lip service. Everything Hill is doing points toward a resurgence. He's been training relentlessly with his father, a partnership built on accountability and grit. When asked about how he's preparing, Hill didn't hold back. "I've been busting my tail," he said, adding that he couldn't wait to see the version of himself that emerges from this grind. That's a scary thought, considering the version we've already seen has terrorized defenses for years. At 31, most wide receivers start to slow down, but Hill isn't hearing any of that. In fact, he's embracing the challenge. "I haven't given my best version of Tyreek yet," he declared. That's not just confidence, that's a promise. One that he fully intends to keep, of course. The backdrop to all of this is the looming financial picture. Tyreek Hill carries a massive $27.75 million cap hit in 2025. And with no guaranteed money remaining, trade rumors have started swirling. But Hill isn't fazed. He's not entertaining the noise. Instead, he's doubled down on his commitment to Miami. "I'm all in for this team," he said. In an era where loyalty in the NFL is fleeting, that statement speaks volumes. Hill isn't just focused on his legacy, he's focused on lifting this Dolphins team to where he knows it can be, and if that means blocking out the distractions and putting everything on his shoulders, he's ready. The money talks will come later. Right now, he's chasing something far more valuable: redemption. The fans in Miami have stood behind Hill through the highs and lows, and he hasn't forgotten. That, ever since I came here, the fan base has been very special, he said with genuine appreciation. That bond means something, it fuels him, and with training camp underway, he's already looking like a man on a mission. The crisp roots, the breakaway speed, the laser focus, it's all there, and while other players might coast through the off-season, Hill is treating every rep like it's the fourth quarter of a playoff game. That's the energy he's bringing to camp. That's the tone he's setting for the entire locker room. If you're not matching that intensity, you're going to get left behind, plain and simple. The ripple effect of Hill's renewed focus is already being felt across the Dolphins roster. Younger players are stepping up, veterans are refocusing, and coaches are taking notice. This isn't just about one player trying to bounce back, it's about a leader setting a new standard. And for a team still chasing its first Super Bowl since the 1970s, that kind of internal shift could be a game changer. Hill knows the window is closing. He knows time is precious. But rather than panicking, he's pressing the gas pedal. Every drill, every snap, every film session, it all matters. And when you have someone like Tyreek Hill leading the charge, suddenly everything starts to feel possible again. But Hill isn't just gunning for personal stats or end-of-year accolades. He wants wins, he wants rings, he wants to be remembered as a player who changed the culture in Miami, and to do that, he knows it starts with him. Accountability, leadership, consistency, he's embracing all of it. And while the road ahead won't be easy, a tough schedule, loaded division, lingering pressure, Tyreek Hill is more than ready. He's not hiding from expectations. He's welcoming them with open arms and open cleats. If anything, he's challenging the rest of the league to try and stop him, because this version of Tyreek Hill, this is the most dangerous version yet. So buckle up, NFL. Tyreek Hill is locked in, loaded, and laser-focused on a comeback tour for the ages. After an off-season full of doubt, debate, and determination, the cheetah is ready to run wild again. And if his words and, more importantly, his actions are any indication, then we're about to witness a masterclass in how a superstar silences critics and reclaims his throne. The Dolphins may have stumbled last season, but their fastest weapon is fully recharged. He's not just back, he's better. And he's warning everyone loud and clear that the best is yet to come. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments, what's your take on the Fins this week? There's a growing buzz around the NFL, and it's starting to sound like thunder in South Beach. Anthony Weaver, the respected defensive coordinator of the Miami Dolphins, might be on the verge of dropping a bombshell that no one saw coming. Word has it, from whispers in the corridors of the Dolphins training facility to murmurs among league insiders, that Weaver could be preparing to walk away from the team. That's right. Just months after accepting one of the most high-profile roles of his career, Weaver might already be looking for the exit door. It's a move that's left players, staff, and fans completely stunned. While nothing has been officially confirmed, several internal sources suggest that there's more to this situation than meets the eye, and if it's true, this could have massive consequences not just for Miami, but for the entire AFC playoff picture moving forward. What's even more shocking is the timing of these rumors. The Dolphins are currently in the thick of preparations for what many believe could be a breakout season, with Tua Tagovailoa entering a make-or-break year, Tyreek Hill still terrorizing secondaries, and the defense stacked with talent. Everything seemed to be aligning perfectly, but now, with Weaver reportedly unsettled behind the scenes, a cloud of uncertainty looms over the organization. Some insiders have hinted that Weaver has clashed with front office leadership regarding personnel decisions, particularly surrounding the linebacker cores and secondary rotations. Others believe the issue is more personal, possibly a lack of alignment in vision, or even a tempting offer elsewhere. Regardless of the reason, the mere possibility of Weaver stepping down has sent shockwaves through the locker room, and no one knows exactly what comes next for Miami's fragile chemistry. For those unfamiliar, Anthony Weaver arrived in Miami with a sterling reputation. A former defensive lineman in the NFL himself, he's known for his fiery leadership, sharp football mind, and ability to get the most out of his players. He previously served with the Ravens and Texans, where he built aggressive, hard-hitting units that made quarterbacks miserable. When he joined the Dolphins, fans celebrated the move as a major win finally. A coach who could bring consistent toughness and discipline to a defense. With all the pieces to dominate, Weaver was expected to be the final puzzle piece for a Dolphins team teetering on the edge of greatness. So now, to hear that he might already be disillusioned or disengaged, it's nothing short of devastating. Players have reportedly begun speculating among themselves, and trust is beginning to fracture. Sources close to the situation have been tight-lipped, but one assistant coach allegedly told a confidant that Weaver has seemed distant and not himself in recent weeks. He's reportedly missed a few closed-door meetings, delegated more than usual, and even skipped an important team dinner. Some believe he's simply burnt out, possibly overwhelmed by the pressure of Miami's sky-high expectations and the ever-present media spotlight. Others are whispering about potential friction with head coach Mike McDaniel, whose unorthodox style might not blend seamlessly with Weaver's more traditional, hard-nosed approach. Whatever the case, the tension is palpable, and while the front office maintains that everything is business as usual, fans aren't buying it. Something feels off, and the more people talk, the more likely it seems that Anthony Weaver might truly be ready to call it quits. If Weaver does leave, the Dolphins will be left scrambling. It's mid-season, and any abrupt departure could cripple the defensive unit's cohesion. Who steps up? Would they promote someone internally, hire a replacement on short notice? Either way, it would be a disaster in terms of preparation. The defensive scheme is complex, and any shift in leadership could cause confusion and instability. More importantly, the trust between players and staff could take a massive hit. Remember, this is a locker room that's already endured a fair amount of drama in recent years. To introduce another element of chaos, especially involving someone as respected as Weaver, could fracture the culture the team has fought so hard to build. And let's not forget, in today's NFL, chemistry matters just as much as talent. One domino falls, and the whole thing can collapse. Now, the speculation is beginning to swirl about what could be pulling Weaver away. One theory is that he's being considered for a head coaching position either in college, or possibly even as an early candidate for an NFL team planning a postseason shakeup. Weaver's name has always floated around in coaching circles as someone with serious leadership potential. If a major program or struggling NFL franchise came calling, would he really say no? Another theory is that Weaver has been approached about a front office role, allowing him to shape a team from the top down, rather than staying locked into the grind of day-to-day coaching. While nothing concrete has surfaced, these theories are gaining traction, and when that much smoke starts rising, it's hard to believe there's not a fire somewhere beneath it. Adding another layer of intrigue is the silence from the Dolphins brass. No official statements, no press conferences, not even a casual denial in the media. That silence is deafening. Typically, when baseless rumors swirl, organizations are quick to squash them, but this time nothing. That has led many to wonder whether the front office is in damage control mode trying to negotiate with Weaver behind the scenes, or, worse, already preparing for life without him. Some reports even suggest that a short list of potential replacements is quietly being assembled. Names like Vic Fangio, who previously worked with the Dolphins, have surfaced. But replacing someone like Weaver mid-season with so much riding on this year's performance feels almost impossible. Meanwhile, players are stuck in limbo. According to sources inside the locker room, several veterans are growing frustrated with the lack of transparency. Leadership groups have reportedly met privately, trying to maintain focus and keep morale high, but the uncertainty is clearly taking a toll. Younger players, especially those who looked up to Weaver as a mentor, are said to be rattled by the whispers. It's a precarious situation. The team's schedule doesn't let up, and every week is critical. A distracted or confused defense could mean the difference between a playoff berth and another disappointing finish. The pressure on Mike McDaniel to steady the ship is greater than ever, and it's unclear how he plans to address the growing elephant in the room. The fans, of course, are watching all of this with growing concern. Social media is ablaze with theories, panic, and desperate hope that the rumors are just that, rumors. But in the modern NFL, perception often becomes reality, and the longer this uncertainty drags on, the worse it looks for the Dolphins. Season ticket holders are already voicing their fears. Sports radio is in full meltdown mode, and rival teams are undoubtedly watching with interest. If Miami stumbles, others will pounce. For a team trying to cement itself as a true contender, the timing couldn't be worse, and if Weaver really is out the door, it could be the first crack in a foundation that many believed was finally solid. In the end, the truth about Anthony Weaver's future with the Dolphins remains shrouded in mystery. But one thing is clear: the smoke surrounding his possible departure is getting thicker by the day. Whether it's due to internal conflict, a better opportunity, or simply burnout, something is clearly brewing behind the scenes. And if this truly is the beginning of the end for Weaver in Miami, The ripple effects could be enormous. For now, all eyes remain fixed on South Florida, waiting for clarity, a statement, or at the very least, a hint of what's to come. One way or another, the next few days could define the Dolphins season and possibly reshape the team's identity for years to come. Stay tuned. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up!